Well, I'm well too. I was somewhat saddened, I'm sure a lot of people were sad to read these results from the Treasury today. Things are grim, you can't sugarcoat it. But the good news is we've got a government that gets it and is reducing waste and reducing red tape, because if you've got a productivity problem, no matter how hard people work, you've got to make it easier for people to produce.
Are you disappointed that Crown revenue is down by about $13 billion?
Yeah, of course, but I'm even more disappointed that the numbers we were given, bad as they seem for the last few years, didn't reflect the full picture. Now we've got an accurate take on where our situation is, and we can start climbing out of that hole, even if it's a bigger one than we'd been led to believe.
Isn't it a good thing if the Crown's taking less money from people?
Well, it depends. Ultimately, the government has to be able to deliver its services. If it is reliant on borrowing to deliver those services, that's a bad thing, because it means you're going to have to take money from other people in the future. But yes, I think it's important that we reduce wasteful spending. The government is doing that. Committing to a $2.4 billion per year operating allowance means we're going to have to make real reductions in spending per person, i.e. become more efficient each and every year.
Is $6 billion in savings going to cut it for next year?
$6 billion of savings is ambitious, but it's what we have to do in order to get closer to balancing the books again. Obviously, this news means it's going to be harder to balance the books than we previously thought, but our determination remains as strong as ever. New Zealanders have had to tighten their belt for the last 5 years in tough economic times. Now we've got a government that gets it, has the real information, and is committed to doing the same thing.
So $6 billion is the target again?
Well, we're going to have to reduce spending by that much if we're going to balance the budget. That's got to be our goal.
Are there any additional revenue measures that you would support introducing to help to be able to fund new spending initiatives?
Well, I always start from the point that the government doesn't have a taxing problem, it has a spending problem if it's running a deficit. We're going to have to be responsible. Borrowing is always worse than taxing more, because really if you borrow now, you have to tax your children in the future plus interest, and we're nearly spending $10 billion a year on interest now due to the debt that we've inherited. However, taxing more is always a last resort, but it is better than borrowing and putting the bill onto your children with an interest amount as well.
The Finance Minister is talking about introducing a charities tax. Is that something that you support?
Look, there's long been an anomaly where you can run a business which is kind of a charity but kind of also a business, and paying tax like a charity but operating like a business. Look, that's always been wrong. For a long time we've said the technicalities of getting onto it are not the highest priority for the Revenue Minister. I think in these circumstances maybe that will change. All right.
What about reintroducing the idea of a foreign buyers tax? Will that ever make it back onto the Cabinet agenda?
Well, we've got one coalition partner who strongly opposes people from overseas being able to come here and buy homes in New Zealand. Until you can actually have foreign buyers buying homes, you can't really tax foreign buyers buying homes. However, I would certainly be supportive of that. I think it's important that our friends from around the world who want to come and be Kiwis, invest in our country and make this a better place, we should be welcoming them to do that. All right. Thank you very much, team.